Motherfucker. Uh-oh. What'd I do wrong? Ha ha ha. Wow. There we go. Wow, there is a lot up there. What's up, Nomad Nation? You've got Godfather. I am one third of your Nomad Gamers. Hey, it's Tuesday. We have started another week. It is going pretty good. I hope your weekend was just as good as mine was. I had a nice, relaxing week in the Shire, and got some other things going on. Like everybody else, I I got the Scourge. Uh, when I mean the Scourge, I mean oh shit, somebody got me sick, but uh got to the doctor today, got all that knocked out. We're good to go now. So let's dive right into it. Tonight, we have got some very exciting news and stories and stuff to go on. But first, let's get to our introductions. If you're watching me over on Facebook, if you're watching me on Kick, if you're watching me on Twitch, I want to say thank you very much. You have found Godfather or Godfather09 over on Twitch. Uh, Thank you very much for being here. If you're not a follower, I invite you to hit that follow button for me. Turn on your notifications. That way, every time I go live, you are being notified. If you are watching me over on YouTube, thank you very much. You found the home of the Nomad Gaming Podcast, where every Saturday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, my other two co hosts will show up, and it's a whole new atmosphere here in the Shire. And we have a lot of fun just talking about video games and the news about the video games, and sometimes giving each other a ration of shit. But it is a good time. For my followers over on TikTok, thank you very much. You found Godfather One. Again, like with everything else down here, if you have not followed the page, please follow. Also, when you watch, please be kind. Hitting that like button, it's a free thing. Takes 2 seconds. Like, done, and then go on about your merry little way. Finally, if you want to talk to your favorite Nomad gamer, and we all know it's me, go on over here to www.discord.com. Look up your Nomad gamers. Ooh, almost said gaming. Gamers. Spelled just the way it is here on YouTube. And subscribe. Look in the general, and you'll see the Nomad gamers or whomever over there doing their thing. All right, now that we got through all of this down here, let's get into tonight's show. Uh, we have got some news on Grand Theft Auto 6. Finally, we have got some. It's kind of news on Elder Scrolls 6. Helldivers 2 had a big update coming out. We'll talk about Switch 2. What's been the best game so far since they launched? A little bit of news on Grand Theft Auto 5, just kind of the wind down thing on it, and then our beloved PS3. What is going on with our beloved PS3? You'll need to tune in to find out. Today is also a monumental day. Today is the last day of the contest for Guess My Background. Last day for it. So here's the rules. Very simple. You have to like whatever platform you are watching me on right now. That's number one. Oh, I'm sorry. Follow. You got to follow the page. Number one. Number two, you have to guess whatever this background is. You can either put it in the chat right here, or if you're watching this afterwards, you can go ahead and leave it in the chat. I will see it. All of these social medias, they ping to my smartphone, so I get them no matter what. So, I think I've got everything for the background. One other thing, you'll see this up here. We are on a kick. We have, well, okay, poor choice of words, but we are on a goal to get to 100 Twitch followers. 100. I think we could do it. I think we can do it, considering the last, I say 3 days. We've gotten like 3 new followers over on Twitch. So I said, what the hell? Bing! Let's see if we can get to 100. And that's just mine. I mean, there's probably something Twitch will like about that, but you know what? I don't give a damn what they like. I do this for fun, so it just is what it is. All right, let's get to the famous background. We're going to go to our nightly gaming, and here we go. Whoa! I moved up to this corner. Woo! All right, so we got this dude. We got a skeleton next to him, and then what the hell is all this around him? That looks like, yeah. Fuck that. Count me out. I wouldn't want to go through that. Uh-uh. Not a chance. All right. And I don't know what's going on with my green screen tonight. You can see, oh, I think I might know what's going on. Aha. Look at that. I figured that out. I feel smart tonight. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? I can sit here and goof off all night, but it just is what it is. All right. So everybody knows that Grand Theft Auto 6 is like the most anticipated game out there for 2026. It is going to be launching in November of 2026. And I have already said it, and I've made it well known that for that entire week of launch, I'm going to be sitting in this seat playing Grand Theft Auto 6, streaming 6. 40 hours is all yours. So today was Take-Two Interactive's quarterly call with shareholders. And a lot of people were kind of worried that we were going to get news again today that Grand Theft Auto 6 was being delayed yet again. That news did not come, ladies and gentlemen. As of 3 hours ago, everything is still on track. So here is what they had to say. Grand Theft Auto 6 launch marketing will begin this summer as the November release date remains on track. That is amazing news to us fans who have been very worried about this game since it was delayed from this May's launch. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried still. I'm still a little worried. And I have every right to be worried. I'll kind of believe this when it comes out, when I see it come out. And not until then. Wait. For consoles at least? For PC? Well, no. The fuck? You better release it with the fucking consoles. I thought perhaps Grand Theft Auto 6 might be delayed in today's Take-Two Interactive financial report. There was a lot of people who were thinking that, big guy. And I was not alone on that. No, you were not. But it did not happen. Thank God. The game remains on track for a release on consoles on November 19th. And Take-Two said in today's announcement that proper marketing for the game will begin this summer. Grand Theft Auto 6 was made official in 2022, and it has been slim pickings in the years since. It has been very slim pickings. 2 promotional trailers, both of them amazing, by the way. A superficial info dump on the cast and settings, and not much else. Hey, JJ, thank you for the like, my partner. How you doing this fine night? An info dump on the cast and settings, and not much else. By all appearances, GTA 6 looks very much like a Grand Theft Auto game. Seriously, what else did we expect? But even knowing what's coming in the broad strokes, us fans, we want details. Well, they're coming. Our execution, and this is a quote by them, our execution throughout fiscal 2026 has been extraordinary, and we are highly confident as we approach fiscal year 2027, which promises to be groundbreaking for Take Two and the entire entertainment industry, led by the November 19th release of Grand Theft Auto 6, with Rockstar's launch marketing set to begin this summer. Take Two said in today's press blast. This is all good news. So far, nothing that I have read is making me think or giving me the jitters. The only thing I don't like is I got to figure out when it's going to release on the PC. I hope it's the same time. Generally speaking, if you don't kick off advertising campaigns or even commit to kicking them off, unless you're pretty sure the associated product is going to be ready to go, that's a mistake CD Projekt made with Cyberpunk 2077, and once it's eager to avoid repeating. Take-Two CEO Zelnick sounds pretty hot about the whole thing too, as he announced the company is raising its financial outlook for the year, with ongoing momentum across many of our businesses and the highly anticipated launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 on November the 19th. We continue to project record levels of net bookings in fiscal 2027, which we believe will establish a new financial baseline for our business, set us on a path to enhance profitability, and provide further balance sheet strength and flexibility. All that meant and all that was him saying Rockstar is healthy. Where they said they were going to make money, and I don't know how much money they're talking, but I like to keep things simple. Okay, nice round number. Let's just go with a cool million. We all know that's bullshit, but we'll say $1 million for that's for E. So he said at the beginning of last year, "Hey, we're going to make $1 million." Today, he told the investors, "I know I told you we'd make $1 million. I'm here to tell you we're going to make $4 million now." So he's made the company more money than what he anticipated, or I should say, the team did. With Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out, uh, it is. I think it's going to be game changing for the entire industry. This is going to be one of those games that sets the bar that every other game is going to have to find. And when I say that, I mean uh, Bethesda with the Fallout series. They're going to have to raise their game up. Bethesda with their Elder Scrolls series. We have some news on that coming up here in a second. They're going to have to raise their game up a little bit on that too. Madden over at EA Sports, they're going to have to do the same. Everybody is going to have to raise up just a little bit because now Rockstar Games has set the bar a little higher, and to have a game that everyone's going to say is good, you're going to have to meet or exceed that bar. Because if you come in under it, you're going to have players going, "Oh, this game sucks. This game's not polished. This game ain't playable." Well, not every studio has the money that Take-Two Interactive has to put into games. Not every developer out there is a big dog on the block or even a medium dog on the block. Some of these smaller fish and some of these smaller dogs are not going to have that money to hit that bar. But if you look at year in and year out, you're seeing the indie developers starting to catch up. Look at the last two game of the years, both indie. Astrobot and Expedition 33. So, I mean, oh, excuse me. While I think this is going to raise everything up, I think it's just going to affect the top tier of gaming companies. That's it. Speaking of our friends over at Bethesda with Elder Scrolls, Skyrim lead designer says the next Elder Scrolls should look at how Baldur's Gate 3 made things meaningful because the gaming community has spoken. That's not always the case. The gaming community speaks a lot. They don't listen to us all that much. When they do, we give them praise sometimes. Bethesda Games have maybe pulled back from doing that a little bit. I'm going to say this, okay? I know I'm getting off topic just a little bit, but it's okay. Two of the games that just take my fucking breath away when it comes down uh to their artwork and to their graphics and to the sheer uh views that you get while you play the game, they come from two separate companies. Red Dead Redemption 2 online. When you get up in the mountains and you look out over the valley, it'll take your fucking breath away. And then the other one is the Elder Scrolls series from Bethesda. Because you can just look at some of these magnificent mountains with valleys and craters. You see another valley that's like fucking torn up. You see another valley that is just lush and green and prosperous. So how they tell that story going back and forth is amazing. And I don't know why those two games always stick out to me, but they do. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm looking at one now while we're talking about the Elder Scrolls. For me, it's I tell you, those two games set the bar when it comes to views. In a new interview with Pressbox PR, Bethesda veteran and Skyrim lead designer Bruce Nesmith goes over his time at the studio addressing topics like why it wouldn't make sense to switch to Unreal Engine, studio head Todd Howard's habit of seagulling, and lore choices that had PCG's Joshua Rollins despairing. One of Neesmith's themes is how Bethesda tweaks its games for mass appeal, even when this involves dialing back the complexity of certain systems. But when it comes to the studio's future titles, Neesmith no longer works at Bethesda. He thinks one recent example in particular has shown a way forward. I would probably look at two things to shake up, says Neesmith. I would probably look at having the world be more dynamic. That always helps. It does. Bethesda games in the last decade have become less dynamic in order to meet the needs of what the games needed and audience expectations. But to be able to have the world be more fluid, I think that would be very cool. Wow, there's a lot right there. Less dynamic in order to meet the needs of what the games needed and the audience expected. Doesn't that sound kind of like an oxymoron? We always want games with very good graphics and very good visuals, very good stories, but the dynamic of the game is scaled back because of what the game needs and what our expectations are. It doesn't make any sense to me.
From Samantha.
It's it's just weird. Give me just a second.
From the Shire.
Okay, so to look at Baldur's Gate 3, draw lessons from that smash hit. That part of, good Lord, they can't even write worth a shit. That part of what made it so popular is that it felt like all choices were meaningful because you made a choice and it made a big difference in your play. Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't the only game that did this. If you look back, Fallout 3 did it, Fallout New Vegas did it, Baldur's Gate 3 did it. But when you look at the more recent titles, they went away from that. Fallout 4, your choices really didn't matter much, unless it came down to a faction. If you picked the Railroad, it had implications out and about. If you picked the Institute, of course, that had implications. If you picked the Settlement or you picked the Minutemen, of course, they had other ripple effects, the Brotherhood of Steel, you name it. It was just for factions. But if you look back at Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, every move you made had a difference as you went through the game. You had to play those games, I swear to God, 3 or 4 times to get a working knowledge of everything that was going on around you. Minerva doesn't like me moving around so much. All right. And by the way, I love the armor of the Elder Scrolls as well. Some of that stuff just it just looks so good. Uh, that's all we have on that. I don't understand much about the Elder Scrolls universe. Baldur's Gate universe is not my cup of tea, so therefore I'm covering it because I feel bad for them, but I really don't understand much about it. All right, one game I have played though is Helldivers. Helldivers 2 has a tank now. Why would it have a tank? All right, it's technically a tank destroyer. Sorry, tank enthusiast. Either way, it's armor. Update. This story erroneously characterized the Bastion stratagem as a battle tank when a tank, I can't even say that word, have kindly pointed out, and the Bastonian's in-game description indicates it's less of a tank than it is a tank destroyer, owing to its lack of rotating turret. Huh. All right. So the other side has a tank, and you have a tank destroyer. But the turret doesn't spin, so you got to turn, sight in, and then blast away. Sounds legit. Described in the patch notes for today, 6.0.1 update is offering unrivaled firepower and defense on the battlefield. The TD-220 Bastion Mark, whatever the fuck that is, battle tank is a new stratagem that will deploy a drivable, heavy armored battle tank equipped with a 120 millimeter high velocity cannon and a heavy coaxial machine gun. It is also big and can run over things like bugs and robots and probably other Helldivers. So if you're out there in the world and you're just driving, you're going to piss off a lot of people. If you want to piss off Fireball real quick, just run them over. To unlock the Bastion, you'll need 35,000 requisition slips, which is tragically more than I found in my pockets when I logged into Helldivers 2 today. After months away, this is coming from PC Gamer, not me. And if the mercs were any indication, you'll likely need to be at least rank 25. Once you've spent the necessary military script, you're free to deploy your very own tank as often as the cooldown will allow. That's once in every 13 minutes. 13 minutes, that's a hell of a time. All right, let's get to a topic I actually know. See, I pick topics that make me uncomfortable because Well, that's Nomad Gamers. We're not stuck on just one thing. Even though I'm stuck on gameplay on a couple things, but I'm not stuck on just reporting on stuff. All right. Nintendo reveals its 4 best-selling Switch 2 games so far, and there's one missing game that's a total red flag. Uh-oh. In its latest financial report, Nintendo revealed the 4 best-selling games it's published for the Switch 2 so far, with the original Switch now standing tall as Nintendo's best-selling console of all time. Expectations are high for the Switch 2. While its holiday sales numbers may not have been up to the standard that some expected, the Switch 2 is still the fastest selling console ever and has already passed 17 million units sold to date. Nintendo, I, we give Nintendo a lot of shit on the Nomad Gamers, but you got to give it to them, man. They keep plugging out very good content. If you're wanting to play with your kids, or if you're wanting to play with your nieces, nephews, anyone smaller, uh, and if you're one of those who monitor the content on the TV, I know there's some out there who do, and I don't care. That's fine by me. Uh, they're probably not watching me because I cuss a lot, but that's okay. Uh, Nintendo's a good company for them. It is. A big reason why the Switch 2 is flying off store shelves is because of its strong software lineup. The Switch 2 is backwards compatible, which means you can play all the Switch 1 games on it, with the vast majority of Switch 1 games, meaning that there are dozens of critically acclaimed masterpieces to play on the device already. However, what will really sell the Switch 2 long term is its exclusive games, and while it has only been on the market for 7 months, it has an impressive lineup of exclusives. You can't really call it exclusives with Nintendo. Mario has gone nowhere else besides Nintendo. Nintendo is synonymous with Mario. Mario is synonymous with Nintendo. It used to be that way with Sonic and Sega Genesis, but not anymore. All right, so here's the list of the best Switch 2 selling games so far. Coming in at number 1, we all knew this was going to happen. Mario Kart World at 14.03 million units. Number 2 is Donkey Kong Bonanza, 4.25 million. Number 3, Pokemon Legends, Z through A, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, 3.89 million. Kirby Air Raiders come in at number 4 at 1.76. Hey, you fucks. You said, didn't they say 5? Oh. Guess we're just going to get to 4. In second place is Donkey Kong Bonanza, the ambitious new 3D platformer with highly destructible environments, has managed to sell an impressive 4.25 million units so far. Let's see here. What is the red flag? Metroid Prime 4 Beyond didn't even crack 1 million units sold. That's kind of surprising if you ask me. That's very surprising. I wouldn't really call it a red flag either, because Metroid is really not uh, is really not a staple to Nintendo. It just isn't. All right, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit. We're gonna go back to some Grand Theft Auto 5 news. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still a revenue powerhouse with more than a decade after its release. It is. If you've been watching my nightly game streams, you will know that I'm putting together my own team, my own crew, and JJ, wherever the hell he may or may not be on still, JJ is a part of that. I'm looking for Dakota to come in. Uh, but if you were watching last week, you would know that JJ bought a shark card. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still a revenue powerhouse because everybody wants the businesses. Everybody wants the cars. There's stuff in there that you want, but you can't grind to get fast enough. You just can't. Take-Two Interactive discloses third quarter earnings today, and likely to no one's surprise, the company's revenue is up and its outlook is positive as we draw closer to the gargantuan release of Grand Theft Auto 6. Take-Two reported a GAAP net revenue of $1.70 billion, increased from $1.36 billion year on year. Long-standing customers buying in-game currency and other in-game purchases has increased by 23%. I get it. If you look at the mansion is over $12 million. When that DLC was coming, nobody quite knew how much it would be. If you look at the expansions from before, I guarantee you most of your players sold cars or did whatever to get up to about $6 million. And that way they could buy the mansion, they could upgrade it to where they wanted it, and go from there. And then a mansion in the hills drops, and all of a sudden you go to buy it, and it's $12.3 million to get. That was a shock for me, and I'm sure it was a shock for everybody else. So that's where I can see this 23% increase coming from. Because everyone was like, fuck, I'll just go out and buy a shark card and be able to buy this. I'll get my money back. I'm not playing enough. I'm going to get my money. With ongoing momentum across many of their businesses and a highly anticipated launch of 6 on November 19th, they continue to project record levels of net bookings in fiscal 27, which we believe will establish a new financial baseline for their business, set them on a path to enhance profitability and provide further balance sheet strength. We already said that when we were talking about 6. It all goes back to Take-Two being very ingenious. When 6 was delayed, they came out with Mansion in the Hills, and they said, "Oh, by the way, it's going to cost you $12 million." That scrambled everybody to go buy a shark card. That drove everybody to go see what the mansion could do. That drove everybody to do all the content that came with the mansion. Now, there's probably some players that have dropped off since then, and that's to be expected. But all the up and coming players, they're still battling around in there, trying to get to that 12 million to get that mansion. Fucking brilliant on their end. Absolutely brilliant. I know I'm one of the up and comers, and I'm over there doing businesses. I'm doing missions. I'm doing uh mini heists from the auto shop. Myself and JJ, we're gonna get into the terabyte tomorrow evening. We're gonna be doing some new content tomorrow evening. So it's stuff like that the up and comers are still playing, but the ones at the top, they play for maybe a week or two, and boom, they're gone again. They just are. I know when I was a top tier player on the PS5, I would come back in to see what the update was all about, and buy it, update it all the way, do the missions or do whatever I had to do on it, and then I'd bounce out to another game. Just that quick. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. All right. Some bad news. I didn't even know it was still running. March 2nd is going to be the end of an era for the PlayStation 3. March 2nd will officially mark the end of an era for the PlayStation 3 as Netflix has announced it will end support for the 20-year-old console on that date. While most Netflix users aren't likely, goddamn cat, aren't users likely aren't using a PlayStation 3 as their main platform to stream new content from the service, those who continue to do so have only 1 month left before they will need to find another compatible device for the app, as the company is now issuing a new warning message. Wow. Given that the PlayStation 3 will be 2 decades old this year, it's surprising that Netflix was still supporting the console. However, it does remain a popular choice for gamers looking to get their regular dose of nostalgia. Not only is the PS3 the only way to play Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, it's the best way to natively play some iconic first party PlayStation games, like the original Uncharted games, Infamous 2, some old school Call of Duty titles, and more. Even one of Rockstar's most beloved Grand Theft Auto games, GTA 4, can still only be played on the PlayStation 3, Xbox consoles via backwards compatibility, and PC to this day, as fans continue to call for a port to modern consoles. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Um, the money's just not in it for them. The money's in Grand Theft Auto 6. The money's in the up and coming titles. The money is not in older titles. And I believe we were talking about it on either Thirsty Thursday, Last Talking Tuesday, or Nomad Gamers about this petition in Europe not to kill games. Uh, it's going to get sticky. Who knows what's going to end up happening? Uh, I can see both sides. I can see the developer side. I can also see the gamer side. Both sides have very good merit to their argument. The gamers love that game. They don't want that game to go anywhere. The developers are trying to push forward, and they can't because they got to keep going back and updating or maintenance in this old game. Well, Nomad Nation, I cut this one short on purpose. I'm still not feeling the greatest. I still have a heavy sinus infection. I'm on medication though. Uh, so I gave something. I tried to give it my all. I'm getting to the point where my throat's getting scratchy. My nose feels like it's about to explode. That's something completely different. I did not have a chance to see what Santiago was doing today. He was live. I seen it, and I was on my way to the doctors, and I couldn't find it. But in Santiago's words, before that, tomorrow night's Wednesday. I will be gaming. Me and JJ are going to be doing some new stuff on Grand Theft Auto 5. Don't forget, I have a poll on my Facebook page on the next story that I'm going to be playing on Wednesday nights. It's open until Saturday. Please go over and vote. Let me know what you think. So far, San Andreas is winning. Not a bad thing. So we'll see what happens there. Friday, I won't be gaming. I got to help my daughter move. So I'll be breaking my back doing that. So in the words of my good friend Santiago Cirillo, your negativity cannot and will not break me. You are beautiful the way you are. If you're playing a game out there and you run across a griefer and that griefer needs blown the fuck up, you blow that motherfucker up. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching Talking Tuesday. Until I see you tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. for my nightly game streams, peace and love. Godfather's out.